Episode 3, Tap Dance. What do you mean Kurt is missing his kidney? I just asked, closely inspecting the real body of Kurt, sleeping in his hospital bed. He was pale, but not as pale as his vampire clone had been. The nurse said that she had witnessed some color in his skin return about the time that Idris staked his magic clone. If you're asking me to repeat what you overheard me say in the hallway, you can forget it, the nurse scoffed. She shotgunned a can of iced coffee, with drink dripping off her chin. Idris might have mistaken her for a vampire if she had not been a nurse. This, of course, is common, which the two share many similarities. Having looked over Taylor's books and personal things, she knew that nursing people were different. Learning about Taylor's life after she had been sent to the void had been fascinating. Fearing the backlash of her actions and the flea Dick Nine, Taylor fled to live with her family in southern New Mexico. She did not return to Whispers Bay until after graduation. After finding her own true calling in being a nurse, likely in an attempt to find a way to cure Idris. So, I just wondered if she should take offense to this nurse's rudeness. It didn't matter either way. Are there others like this? Idris asked her. There's a HIPAA violation waiting to happen, the nurse said. Look, I've been on shift for 11 hours, and I'm staying on a few extra because of things going on. Are you done asking questions? Kirk's eyes were closed, and the Idris he'd looked pained, peaceful. Not the troubled person his magic husk had been. Not the beast she had fought. The longer she looked at the athlete, the more she remembered her own illness. She wondered if that's how she looked when she slept, when death crept at her back door. The thought was sickening. There had to be a way to make his hurting stop. No, if they got you staying after that long of a shift, well, I can figure that out for myself. That's all for now. Don't complain if I come back. Wouldn't dream of it, Yo-Yo, the nurse said. Don't call me Yo-Yo. People like you make me sick, the nurse replied. If the shoe fits, go tap dancing. The nurse motioned for her to exit the room. Idris picked up a card that sat next to a basket of flowers on the counter. It read, from Sunset Baptist Church. She had to get out of the room, away from the sights and sounds of the hospital. Each intercom buzz and beep felt as if she were being dragged back closer to death, where she felt she belonged. Whispers Bay Community College, afternoon. The whistle blew. A group of students sat in the bleachers, hardly watching football practice. The wideouts hadn't caught a pass in the thick of fog all practice. The linemen hadn't even started their first warm-ups after 20 minutes. Students wore shirts with Team Kurt written on them. What would they have thought about the vampire-like clone of Kurt? The one who had intended to drain Idris the night before. Would the students still be wearing t-shirts if they knew? Isn't Brad so dreamy? She heard a college student behind her say. The student approached. That's not my bag of chips, Idris bluntly said. He's second-string quarterback, but he has a chance of Kurt in the hospital, the college student said. I'd catch some passes from that. You're the girl from the tea shop, the one that sells potions and hangs out with the Gobolo thing, right? You beat death at a chess game or something. Did her question have a point? Idris asked. My name is Eden. I'm a freshman. Girl sat next to her. Pads clunked together. A ball was kicked high into the sky, towards the wrong end zone. The head coach on the sideline plopped to the ground in tears. Another coach approached and bent down, gently tapped a man in a deep state of a panic attack. Come on, coach. We're still better than the Arizona Cardinals, the coach said. She stood and observed a sizable crowd that had gathered to view the athletes trying to perform. Because if you are that person, you must be here to look into that strange magic going on with Kurt, she said. Since you're one of those weird magic people, there's more than a few men on the team with bite marks, and I don't mean mine. Idris turned to her in annoyance. You're one of those vampire groupies. What's a girl like you chasing fangs like that? Don't you have a trust fund to blow? My therapist thinks it's deep-rooted. Definitely some manic in there somewhere. I'm at peace with my demons. We nap together and go out for ice cream sometime. I don't even think you know that you have demons. But if you're looking for into who attacked Kurt and who took his body parts, I was told to tell you to go to the Black Box Theater tonight. Someone in the Fang Club will get you backstage. Idris shook her head. I think not. I met a few with ragamuffins last night. I didn't care for their company. I heard you were asking around, Eden said. These are not types you want to disappoint. Unless you're into that kind of thing, like I am. With, consent, though. An old car with the Spinner's Pizza logo fitted on top pulled into the stadium parking lot. Several people approached the vehicle. Idris and Eden watched as the man driving handed off the pizza box to the first person he could reach, then motioned for another person to get in the car. A college-aged man did as the driver asked. This is bigger than you think, Eden said, as the Spinner's Pizza delivery car sped away. Tonight, be backstage at the Black Box Theater before the play starts. There's someone there who wants to talk to you. Black Box Theater dressing room, 1A evening. The white cat with frosted black tips licked its paws on the makeup table. The bright lights in the room made Idris feel like she had gone snowblind. Other actors put on makeup and warming up with seemingly ridiculous vocal exercises, such as the girl next to them who kept saying, "I'm a big lion," as loud as she could before whispering, "Now I'm a little lion," repeatedly, over and over. She hadn't seen anything as silly since her Make-A-Wish night with the Portland Trailblazers. Rip City lost 120-40 to the Lakers that night. Is this a joke? Idris asked. You're the cat I talked with at Fingerhopper's. The clean horse fell in the mud. That's a joke. Sorry if it was a dirty one, the cat said, inspecting his claws. You spoke with Spinner's Pizza's new owner. They seem to have taken my side after you talked with them. I thank you for your work. You should consider working for me. You're a ragamuffin. You're associated with these suckers? Idris asked. The cat flicked its tail, stood up, and spun in a circle. I am a cultured person, and known in several social circles. Trust me, do yourself no favors burning bridges. Cut to the chase. What are you trying to tell me? Idris said. Oh, poor move, sport, the cat said, walking to the script nearby. It looked over its lines for the evening's performance. Ever heard of the art of war? Sun Tzu said, must one know their enemy better than they know themselves? You must study me, as I have studied you all these years, through school and beyond, walking among the stray cats and the snuffer-clad spies. Arrogance is such a waste, don't you agree? I don't have time to sit around looking at tea leaves. Are you saying you're my enemy or what? I just asked. The cat leapt down at her feet and rammed its head into her ankles. Do you want to be my enemy? Under the cherry blossoms, there are no strangers. But I can be whatever you make of me. Who are you? For realsies. Idris backed away. You can call me Langhorn, the cat said. That is one of many names of which I am called. There is one I am called more commonly, however. Idris tried to exit through the door, but the actor practicing the lion exercises stepped in front of her. She turned back. The white cat with black kissed hair glared at her, seemingly with an unnatural smile. I am the uncreated man. Idris grabbed at her wrist, but she had no more magic bracelets remaining. Before she could realize what was going on, the creature leapt on her. She fell, hitting the wall with the back of her head. Before the world went dark, and before she lost consciousness, she heard the cat speak. Excuse me, Himoto. I have a crowd to entertain. I'll deal with you soon enough. Big lion, little lion, big lion. An actor went on preparing as if no one else was in the room. Feeding house. Evening. Wake up! You don't want to miss this. Idris wasn't sure whose voice she heard as she regained consciousness. When her vision returned, she realized she was tied up alongside Eden, the woman who had approached her at the football practice hours before. Idris noticed bloodstains on the shag carpet inches away from her face. Outside the room, there was a multitude of beeping and buzzing. No, I'm good, Idris said, trying to break her hands free from her bonds. The rope was too sturdy to budge. We are so lucky we got picked, Eden said, moving closer to Idris, sounding more like she was at a slumber party than having been kidnapped. You have to have the right blood type, and everything has to be chosen. I knew my chances would be better if I talked to you like they asked me to. I can't thank you enough. This is the best day of my life. The attacks aren't random. Idris gave up and sat with her back against the wall. If only this would have happened to me ages ago, Eden said. Everyone is carefully chosen and consents. I sure as hell am not consenting right now. The room's only door creaked open. The white cat with black-tipped hair walked in. I do admit, Langhorn said, an all-cat version of Hamlet is distasteful, but the turnout is always wonderful. You missed an outstanding performance, Idris. I was all tied up, she said. Why are there two of us here? That's a lot of blood for one vampire. Eden scooted alongside Idris and gave her a slight jab in the ribs with her elbow. Don't ruin this for me. In front of them, the cat morphed into a man in his 20s, wearing a white tweed suit covered in black powder. He was the figure Idris saw from the window from the tea shop the night before. Yet his mask had hidden his deformed face then. The gasp that came from Idris' lips could not be helped as she looked upon the man. He looked frail, as if he could pass out at any moment. But the claw-like weapon he wore at his left hand looked sharp. I need to recover. The man unrolled the sleeves on his arms. What was left of his forearm was flesh and bone, held together by pieces of magic. So are we doing this together, or is she watching, or how does this work? Eden asked. The beast of a man tilted his head at hearing this. You do know you're being drained so that I may heal myself with your blood. You understand that, right? That's hot, Eden said. I have plans for Idris. A grand finale, so to speak. For now, I ask for your consent for me to place my fangs upon your neck to feed. Yes, Eden shouted. The ungreeted man bit the woman, who smiled. Idris watched as Eden turned purple. When he had finished with her, he stood up. His arm was healed, appearing normal. Eden's arm, however, was missing. His victim lay on the floor, breathing, but in a deep sleep like the others she had seen in the feeding house. A purple cloud of dust rose from her body and reformed itself into an identical copy of the bitten woman. The person, now looking exactly like Eden had when she was awake, nodded at the man. She left the room. You literally feed on people to stay alive, Idris said, backing herself into the corner of the room. That's called living. Yes, Langhorn said, crossing to her. Still walking with a limp, every step caused him pain. Idris could see this on his face. But you're living on borrowed time yourself. Your existence here means Taylor is in the void. Does it not? How do you not feed on her existence? That is all this is. Everyone eating each other in one way or another. That is not what we are, Idris said. This is a good town of good people. They opened up magic to the entire world. My soul bond has nothing to do with it. The Gladorians refused to help when I needed it. No, the magic community has shunned us. you included. You know this to be true. That is why I am here, to make things better. But you can't see it yet, though. Untie me, Idris demanded. Langhorn drew closer. Don't you understand? I need you. You need to stop hurting people. You need to get out of the bay. Come. The croaking raven doth bellow for revenge. Uncree opened his mouth and moved the feet on her. She kicked a chair, flipping it on top of the uncreated man. The ropes around her wrists finally loosened. Before she could do anything, the vampire clone of Eden entered back into the room. Langhorn lunged towards her, with his fangs revealed. I just grabbed the back of Eden's head and used her momentum to drive her fangs into the monster's shoulder. The uncreated man cried out. Eden tried to say with her mouth full of person and clothing. The uncreated man struck Idris, who did not run fast enough away. His claw-like weapon cut into her side. She did not cry, but she used the pain to sprint out of the room. There, at the front of the house, she saw row after row of sleeping people stacked on top of each other. Too many for her to count. All of them pale, some missing arms and leg. The numbers were staggering. Holding her side, she hurried outside. She ran, stumbling towards a well-lit spot along the 101 Main Street. Not a Magic Tea Shop, Supply Closet Lake. Those are the nastiest rib injuries I've ever helped you recover from. Grobopolopopkas had spit Idris out from one of his many mouths, healing her of all of her wounds. At first, using another sin against nature as a doctor had felt odd, but Grobo seemed to understand much more than the nurse practitioner with the house complex had. In the years she had returned from the void, she had been lucky to work in the same shop as the creature, or 20 souls combined into one monster, rather. Creature spent all of its time going from hospital to hospital, getting children with cancer and terminal illnesses, then spitting them back up perfectly healthy, of course. Grobo understood his place, and it felt refreshing to be around someone with stability. A shape-shifting, body-part-stealing vampire thing is creating an army of followers to take over the bay. Idris put her leather jacket back on. She wrung Grobopolopopkas' spit out of her hair over the edge of a lake. The monster shook its head and flailed some of its arms about. Are you sure it's a vampire? I cannot cure that kind of magic. My abilities are more natural healing. There's nothing I can do to return the victim's soul to their bodies. They don't have time to fight an army either. I have places to be. I don't know how to defeat it, Idris said. First of all, in cat form, he can follow me anywhere I go. I'm a herbologist, Grobopolopopkas. I'm not a hunter. But I have to do this. I have to stop Uncree before he takes over. I feel like an ant trying to push a slice of watermelon up a hill. There has to be a better way. Grobopolopopkas placed one of its arms around Idris. You got it. If you could handle rush hour at the shop, you can handle a body-stealing vampire. Maybe take some items with you next time, in case you have to fight Puss in Boots again. No time, Idris said, heading up the hill to the door leading back to the shop. I thought I found the spice vampire's hive at the piece of place. I don't think that's their lair. Maybe the spicers might help me. Be careful, Idris. I don't think your yo-yo curse would mix well with becoming undead. Things get dangerous when mixing dark magic like that. I know, Grobo. I know. If I can find the way to cut off support for the ragamuffins that might cut off the uncreated man's supply. I don't know where to look. When I feel lost, I always turn to my local church, the sin against nature said. Take a spike. There's this abandoned track not far from the lake, near the knotted tea shop basement. I'd take that spike with you, no matter where you go.